Friends, if your home isn't selling, it's probably not just the market. It's usually the strategy. And I know that is not what any seller wants to hear, but it's the truth. Because homes are still selling, just not the ones that are overpriced, poorly presented, or lazily marketed. So today, I'm going to break down the biggest reasons homes are sitting and what I do differently if I was in your shoes. Hey, everybody, I'm Dani Hampton. I'm a North Fort Worth realtor, and I'm going to be honest, if your home isn't selling, there's usually a reason. And that is exactly where I think a lot of sellers get some bad advice. A lot of people are still treating this market still like it's an easy market that we had a couple years ago. And I'm sorry, it's not. Buyers are more careful. They have a lot more options and they're paying attention to the value. So if your home isn't positioned right from the very beginning, it's going to get ignored fast. So let's talk about the real reasons this happens. All right, reason number one, you priced it too high from the start. That is probably one of the biggest ones. A lot of sellers, they want to test the market. They want to leave room for negotiations. They price it based off what they hope the home is worth instead of actually thinking about what buyers are actually willing to pay. But here's the problem. The very first few days on the market, they matter the most. That's when buyers are watching. That's when the listing gets the most attention. And if the price feels off, buyers do not get excited. They hesitate. And once they hesitate, they keep scrolling. So here's my take on that. Honestly, this is one of the hardest conversations to have with sellers because everybody wants to aim high. And in my opinion, pricing high rarely helps you. It usually helps you sit on the market. What I also see happen a lot with sellers is that they want to start high and come down later. And yes, you can, but you may also have lost your best window of attention. So if the pricing is wrong, you're probably already behind. And if the presentation is off too, well, that's when it gets worse. Okay, reason two is the presentation is hurting you. Bad photos, clutter, dark rooms, too much furniture, no prep. That is the stuff that people look at. That is what matters most to them. And because buyers are judging your home online before they ever walk through the door, I actually have a little joke here. I kind of feel like when people are scrolling Zillow and Realtor.com, it's almost like your house is on Tinder. If they do not like it, they do not swipe right. Even if your home feels great in person, if it looks messy, dark, dated, or poorly cared for in photos, then buyers are going to start discounting the value before they even schedule a showing. And that's a problem. And honestly, this is the place where I feel like a lot of people, they don't really need to spend a fortune getting their house ready. It's going to be a little bit of sweat equity is what I would call it, where it takes the decluttering, the lightening of some paint touch-ups, and just being able to truly make sure that your home is being shown in the best light. I would make a lot of jokes with my sellers when I'm helping them get their houses ready to list and basically going, you know, that anxiety that you have with having your in-laws come over and you really want to make sure that there's nothing that they're going to pick on you about. Well, let's kind of take that same mentality and think about them being your buyers. So you want your house to look its best online. This is again like the dating profile. You want the picture that is going to make your best features enhanced. So let's do that for our own pictures for your listing, because presentation actually changes how people feel about the value. All right, now that we've talked about pricing and presentation, now there's just one other area that maybe your listing is falling flat. Your marketing is too weak. I know. I'm going to say it. Putting a home on MLS is just not enough anymore. That is not a full marketing plan. You need strong photos, good listing copy, a strong strategy behind how the home is being positioned, social media exposure, agent outreach, and the right eyes on your property. But if buyers do not notice your home, they're not going to buy it. And in today's market, visibility matters. Okay, and let me go ahead and give you guys my hot take on this, because here's the thing. There's a lot of real estate agents right now that are getting hired because they look so so good on social media. And you know what? I would not say that I'm not the same, but I'm not the same. I'm not going to just put all of my eggs thinking that social media is going to be the thing that brings the visibility in finding your buyer. The other items that I had just listed are a part of that equation. It is not just one thing. It's not just the MLS. It's not just the social media. It is your networking, your outreach, and all of the above. So just because a real estate agent looks fantastic online with their listing presentations does not automatically assume, for one, that the price is right. And number two is that that is the way they're finding their buyers. So just so you know, a lot of agents are doing a lot of things when it comes to their listing videos, and it's usually getting them more sellers and it's not actually finding the buyer for that listing. So keep that in mind, just my little hot take. So here's the thing, back to the point, lazy marketing is going to cost you money. So even if you hired an agent, and I'm not going to assume that you hired an agent who was a discount agent, but if you hired an agent that is essentially only putting your house on the MLS, what are they really doing? So this could be costing you money. In addition to making sure you're priced right and that your home shows well, you have to make sure that your agent is also making sure they're doing everything they can to market your property. It might not just be putting it on the MLS. It might not just be the one social media post or that one social media video. If it's a viral TikTok, there's so many other factors when it comes to the marketing plan and understanding the strategy behind it. So if you're priced right and your photos look great, then we need to make sure that your agent is actually doing their part to get your home in front of the right buyer's agents. And there is a lot of ways that we can do that. I want to make sure that you guys as sellers understand that. Reason 4, you are ignoring what buyers really want in this market. Today's buyers are more selective. They care about condition. They notice repairs. They notice old paint, worn flooring, outdated finishes, deferred maintenance. They care about the monthly payment, and they care whether the home actually feels like it's worth the price. So if a house needs work but is priced like the updated home down the street, buyers are going to notice that immediately. That doesn't mean your home has to be perfect, but you do need to be realistic. Sometimes that means making repairs or offering concessions, or maybe just even adjusting your own expectations, assuming that buyers will overlook this. Because right now, they won't. So in my opinion, these buyers in today's 2026 market, they're value aware. They are doing math differently. They're comparing your house to every other option they can buy right now. So you don't want to compare your house to last year's market. If you're going to ignore all of that from the start, the next mistake usually happens. And that's going to take me to reason number 5. All right, reason number 5, you're chasing the market with price cuts. That's when a listing starts to feel safe. And then when you feel like you're a little too high, you make a price cut. And then another, and maybe another. And now buyers are starting to wonder what's wrong with it. Okay, just side note here. I was in a listing appointment yesterday and I made this same analogy, which is going back to just the dating world and thinking about the dating world. Okay, funny story. I probably never actually experienced the dating world, so I know that I'm going off of what I see on rom-coms and TV and all of that. But I want to say that this is the same thing, that when something is on the market for a long time, just like if someone has been single their whole adult life, people start making up stories. They start thinking about, why is that person still available? Why is that person still single? So again, with our houses, why is that house still on the market? And then seeing that price starting high, and every time you do a price cut, it starts to make you look a little desperate. And here's the other issue that might be working against you. It actually is giving them more reason to wait, because now that they've seen you take the price cuts, they're actually going to just wait to see when you will make the next one. And that is not where you want to be as a seller, because once your listing starts looking stale, you'll lose that leverage and it starts to get harder to create that type of urgency. So honestly, that is probably one of the things that frustrates me the most for sellers, because I feel like that can actually be avoided with a better strategy from day one. I would much rather see a seller come out strong with the right plan than spend weeks chasing the market and trying to recover the momentum. Okay, you guys have waited this long. So what is the fix? Good news, it can be flexible. Okay, maybe I'm not saying flexible as like me doing some yoga stretches or whatnot, but let's just say it could be flexible based off your own motivation. The fix is simple. Price right from the very beginning, prep it well before it goes live, market it hard, and understand what buyers are actually caring for right now. That's it. That is how you avoid becoming the listing that just sits there collecting days on market and price reductions, because homes are actually selling. The ones that are winning are the ones with the right strategy behind them. I know this. So if I was a seller in this market right now, I would care less about the actual testing and be more about positioning. This is where finding the right agent that work with you is so important, because I feel like you guys need to be on the same game plan, having the same motivation, and also knowing that when you are meeting with that agent, even though you might be ready now, understanding what is going on in the market, what buyers are looking for, what homes are selling, and knowing what you're going to be competing with is all a part of building out that strategy. I really believe the sellers who win are the ones who get honest early instead of being reactive later. If your home is still sitting and you don't want to assume it's the market, look at the pricing, look at the presentation, look at the marketing, and look whether that home matches what other buyers expect right now, because most of the time that is where the real issue is. And again, I'm Dani Hampton. I'm a North Fort Worth realtor, and if you're local and want honest advice on your next move, I'd love to help you. And if you're somewhere else in the country, I also have a trusted network of agents within Real Broker that I can connect you with. So if you're thinking about selling and you want my opinion on what I think about your house, feel free to drop your situation in the comments and I'd be happy to give you my 2 cents. And to keep following along to this channel as I upload videos weekly, please hit that subscribe and like and share this with a friend who might need to hear this advice.